you can hear me, please let me know. I appreciate that. Good evening. I hope you're doing well. If you're online, please let me know. And if you can hear me clearly, please let me know. Thank you very much. I appreciate. So as you are joining, please let's wait for others to join. Thanks. Adiboye, Mr. Adiboye Adewumi. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for coming. Please let's just wait for others to join. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me know. Sir. So you can help share the link so that others can get notified. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Adiboye. I appreciate you, sir. Please help me and share the link so that others we get an info. Thank you. I appreciate. Madam Favor Ogo, good evening. Welcome. Please kindly do us a favor and help us share the links so that others can join. It's for everybody. Thank you. Welcome. So, Madam Favor, please help us and share it across the so that they don't have to delay us this time. So let's wait for others to join, please. Thank you very much, Mr. Adeboye. Good evening, ma. Dr. Ume, good evening, ma. Welcome. Um, Madam Fisayo Shongolade, welcome. Please help us and share the link across the group so that we can. Good evening, Shongolade. It's a pleasure. Motivate me. Welcome. Please, while we wait for others, we can keep sharing the links across the groups so that they can. Shitu Noah. Good evening. Good evening. So I welcome everybody. I welcome everybody. Good evening. I hope you guys didn't experience the rain. Akaha Fanen, welcome. How was the rain? It was so heavy, but remember I said something. I said, "Come rain, come shine." Today we are not gonna be stopped by rain. Akaha Fanen, good evening. So let's just wait for others. It didn't rain in Abuja. Ke. Wow, it was the whole of Lagos was engulfed in fact, everybody, I can't say anywhere in Lagos is void of rain. Wow, you guys are lucky then. Mr. Daudu Toby, good evening. Polo Olaujo, welcome. Good evening. Ikeria Ifioma, good evening, madam. Thank you very much. Um, Welcome. If you know you are happy this night, you can just hit the like button. Hit the like button if you're happy for tonight's lecture. You guys are wonderful. So let's just chill for others to join. Miriam Oladimeji, good evening. Thank you. So I welcome everybody. Let's just chill for others to join so that we can get started without leaving anybody behind. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. So let's just wait for others to join. So tonight is going to be very special, unlike previous nights, because um we are going to be a beyond affairs. Good evening, beyond affairs. Oh wow, good evening. So tonight we are going to be delving into what combines every stack, you know, and what makes you a good engineer. And it is something that is an added advantage to your CV, regardless of the stack you are going to be mastering. You understand? So if you don't have this, I'm sorry, you are not employable. If you don't have these skills, you're not employable. Madam Joyful Michael, good evening. So this is what makes you. This section is gonna be a section that will prove your employability, because without having this knowledge, without having this Git and GitHub knowledge, um, I'm sorry, an employer um, might reconsider employing you, because this is what makes you collaborative and what makes you a good engineer. So let's just stay positive and wait for others to join, because if you have been missing other nights, tonight shouldn't be the night you should miss, because you're gonna be learning everything from scratch. And of the truth, this is not going to be the end of it, because you're still going to do it in your curriculum, but in a much more advanced one. So we just need this to help us to collaborate with our code, rather than rather than it makes us to collaborate rather than uh, rather than um, writing, sending our codes over the chat, rather than conveying our codes without uh, technical maturity. So this time it shows that we have grown in terms of technology. So that is that. So let's just wait for others to join, and while we keep our fingers crossed. So let's just do it. I know quite numbers of persons will be in the hold up, um basically because of basically because of the rain. The downpour was so much that everybody in Lagos got drenched. So Mr. Paul believe Dennis, good evening, sir. So we are waiting for others. So we'll get started in the next 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes we start off. We don't have to wait beyond that. Thank you very much, as we exercise patience. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Hey, thank God, Mbaidi. Good evening. Welcome on board. Hey, good evening, Oluwafemi Michael. It's a pleasure having you around. Please do us a favor, kindly share the link across so that we can get the people we are waiting for can get a link on time. You know, please you can just share the links across. Thank you very much. Zika, I appreciate you too. Thank you very much, Zika. Thank you. Latif Salau, good evening. So we have about 7 minutes to go, or 8 minutes or thereabout. So in 8 minutes times we'll get started. Roger Fumilayo, good evening. Welcome on board. Welcome on board. Welcome on board. Joshua Olaliko, good evening. Welcome. Hey, Mr. Nandom Gonin, welcome. Simeon Ashori, thank you very much. Good to be here with you too. Good to have you on board. Taiwo Azan Ajadi, welcome. Welcome. So we have about 6 minutes to go to get started. If you know you are happy to be here tonight, just hit the like button. If you know it is worth your time, just hit the like button, share the links, you know, it's allowed. It's allowed. So we're gonna be getting to practical tonight with Git and GitHub, so you will understand why I always make use of the command prompt. It is not for me to, make things look so hard or so technical. It's just for me to get you or to make you get used to using the CLI rather than making use of the graphical method, you know, because Git professionally is more of CLI. So um, tonight you're gonna be unraveling the or making use of the skills you've acquired over time via the use of CLI. You know, so that is that. So let's just wait. We have 5 minutes now to go. So about 4 or 5 minutes to get started. So in 4 or 5 minutes we should get started. Taiwo Azan Ajadi, good evening. So welcome you guys on board. Ah, sure. Mr. Adeboye, I am. It's recorded. Yes, I am recording it so that uh you can have access to it afterwards. Mr. Akinshola Babajide Amos, happy to hear from you too. I appreciate you guys and I appreciate your consistency. So it's nice having you guys around. Oluwatobi Michael, good evening. Oluwatobi Michael, good evening. So we have 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes to get started. We have less than 2 minutes. Okay, let's just get started. 2 minutes is insignificant. So let's get started. Um, Good evening, everybody. Today we're going to be learning version control system. What is version control system? Before we delve into getting to know what version control system is, let me first of all, uh, Mr. Nandom Gonin, you said you are not hearing me and you're not seeing anything. I think you should check your network or check your settings from your end. Thank you very much. So, I want you to first of all consider or think of an entity like Google. Of course, you all know Google, you know Amazon, you know Netflix, you know Facebook, you know all those big tech companies, big coys, you know Goldman Sachs, you know all those big technology companies and even non-technology companies. But any company, any entity whatsoever that has IT department or software department, you know all of them. You've seen virtually, even if you have not seen, you've heard all of them or some of them or most of them. Well, you might be wondering how, most of these companies, their kind of employment for software engineers are mostly remote or hybrid. Hybrid is a situation whereby you go to work for some days and some days you have to work remotely, and while 100% remote is a situation whereby you work from home. And of course, you might be wondering how possible. Thank you very much, Mr. Tosin. You might be wondering how possible it is for a software engineer to be for a company to maintain software engineers across nations, across the globe. You understand? How is it possible? How are their jobs being monitored? Well, today you are going to be learning how possible it is, or how possible it has been for such companies. Um, I would want you to understand that version control system has a tool that is most used by yes, if you can see version control system, check your sound system, Mr. Gunning, please. I think it's from you. A lot of quite numbers of person, in fact, if not everybody, are agreeing to the fact that they can hear me so audibly. So the version control system, it's a kind of tool that is used by all software companies for a kind of collaboration, for integration, and of course for delivery. Now, before we set ourselves loose on getting to know what version control system is, I think we need to know basic requirements that are needed before we can scale in the use of version control system. So version control system, when you're talking about version control system, you're talking about Git and GitHub. You understand? But these are two different things. Don't mistake them for same thing. They are two different things. But of course, they all work to achieve a purpose. Both Git and GitHub are set to achieve a purpose, but they are two different entities. We are going to be learning what Git is and what GitHub is. You understand? And how to make use of them, of course. So, so the basic requirements are we'll be looking at one, you must have at least a machine. And when you're talking about a machine, here we are talking about your personal computer, your laptop, you understand? Then two, we'll be talking about operating systems. Of course, your laptop or your personal computer should have an operating system. Here we are talking about Windows operating system, Macintosh operating system, which is Mac, and Linux operating system. Both Mac and Linux are Unix-based operating system. You understand? So they are similar in terms of commands and stuff. And of course, Git Git CLI, which is known as Git Bash, also use Unix command. So if your case is someone that is used to making use of, and that uses Mac operating system or Linux operating system. In fact, this is the best time to enjoy or to extend what your knowledge of your operating system to Git Bash. Then another thing you should know that you'll be needing is your remote account. You need a remote account. This is your GitHub account. It is free. It's not going to be, you are not going to be charged. It is free. It is open source. It is 100% free. You know, I will not bring anything that is not free to you. So the fourth thing that you'll be needing is your source directory. This has to do with your working directory. And I've told you several times that anytime you hear me talk about Osholawale, good evening. Anytime you hear me talk about working directory, I'm actually referring to your folder. So the technical terms for folder is what? Working directory. So you should know that, okay? Please. And of course, if you're talking about your path, it is your path. Path is different from working directory. Working directory is simply your folder, and the path is simply the hierarchical level of your folder. You understand? The location of your folder, that is the path. You understand? So that is that. So don't confuse yourself as to that. Then um I know some of you might be wondering what is versioning or just version. You understand? What is versioning or just version? Expect this kind of question. Questions like of course, after now, maybe in the maybe later on, if you're trying to apply for internship, if you're trying to apply for job, expect questions. Sometimes it might not be coding, it might be some much more technical questions, like what is Git, what is software versions, or why do you use why do you need version control system, you know or what is versioning, or just version, you understand. So we are going to be breaking that into pieces, so as for us to have understanding of what those are. So what is Git and all those things? What is software version? Why do you need version control system? What is versioning, or just version? So expect such questions. Now let me explain how it is. Now imagine you were playing a game, say a game of chess, or a game of, say, checker. I don't know, the one we call draft in Nigeria. Say a game of chess or a game of checker. Or of course, you are playing Ludo. Let me come to Africa. We are playing Ludo, especially Nigeria. We play Ludo. We like to play Ludo. You understand? Let's say you were playing Ludo with your friend or with friends, and maybe you check the time and you saw that the time has gone far gone, and you needed to stop from where you just stop at the moment and continue from the next and continue maybe the following day. You understand? So you could not finish up and you intend to continue the next day. So then, maybe after you had, okay, let's keep this game. Maybe you are trying to keep the game somewhere, maybe the Ludo game, just the way you have played. Maybe somebody's having um two seeds or three seeds. I'm using Ludo as a case study now. Two seeds or three seeds, something like that. You've been playing and you don't want to interfere with what is on ground. So you just want to keep it on the table. Maybe the next day you continue from where uh, you stopped. Then maybe your pet just jumped on where you stopped and scattered the whole process. What will you do to recover where you last stopped? As in, where the game, the place you the last place you stopped while playing the games. What will you do if your pet eventually scatter the whole process? Well, some of you might be saying, okay, maybe the best solution is to uh, maybe such scenario would have been better to be if it had been a situation whereby you are taking a selfie while playing to record where the game ended. Maybe you're trying to video record what you have been playing and how you have been playing, just to catch every scenes, you understand, so as for you to be able to continue and to know what was left and where to continue from. Well, you could even take multiple photos with different dates. The moment you take a snapshot, each photo, each snap, each picture is tagged with time and date. If I snapped a particular picture right now, in the next 1 second, if I snap another picture, they will have different time of different timing. So those timings are used to what, to identify them. You understand? So let's assume in this case we wanted to correct. Let's assume we've seen the future from the past and would like to correct the past. I mean the future from the past, and maybe we decide to take pictures of each scenes, or several pictures on each play we've made. You understand? Now, those different or multiple photos we have different dates, and those dates represent what? Those dates that you are seeing that those pictures are having represent version of each photo. So to access a particular photo, you need to what? You need a version of that date. You understand? Okay, or a version of that time. You can say, okay, some pictures we are taking, maybe I had three seeds and you had maybe one of you, let's say a friend of mine that I was playing a Ludo with, had two seed. You understand? So at the time I took the picture, maybe we still continued, and eventually he still maintained his two seeds while I had one seed. Those processes and those timing have different timing. So those timing, those different timing will be assessed. Those photos will be assessed according to what? To their time. You understand? So the time, the date are what is called or known as version, for example. You understand? So invariably we can simply say, um we can say we can say something like, a version. We can say a version is a unique state of an object. You understand? Let's say you have been asked what a version is, so you can say a version is a unique state of an object. You can think of an object as a file. You understand? So in that case, each file will represent a version. So to access a file, you need the file name. If you have a folder now in your, maybe while you're working your while you're working on your IDE, if you have a folder, and the folder will have what? Files. Let's say files, different files, and you will agree with me that different files are tagged differently. You can't have the same name of various files in a particular folder. You understand? The system will check against that. So the file name now represents what? A version. So to access a file, you need the file name. Therefore, the file name is the version of the file. You understand? So that is what version is. Definition of version. That is just the definition of version. Let me reiterate. Version is, I wrote the definition out, so don't worry. I typed them. You will see them, you will see them on the screen, so you have nothing to worry about. So a version is a unique state of an object, and I told you, when you hear the use of an object here refers to what? A file. You understand? So that is that. So now that is just a typical example that I can quickly make use of. But of course, as we progress, we will have a sound understanding of what I'm trying to talk about. You understand? So imagine you suddenly discovered, okay, let's assume you're working with a company A, or you good evening, Mr. Osman Musa. Let's assume have you have let's assume you have um a freelance job, and while you have a freelance job, you were asked to send your code along, and mainly you sent your code along, you sent it maybe via email. Imagine you discover that you had a bug and it has been sent through email. How would you how would you quickly correct it without even them noticing that, or without even them um taking the source file and giving it to their, I mean, taking the source file and give it to their engineer, without, you know without, you send the email already, you send the source file. How would you be able to correct bugs that you just discovered after you have sent the source file? So this is only possible through what? Version control system. You understand? So it's a way of, doing various things, collaborating your code, making changes to your code and all those things. So this system was discovered in 1995 by this man called Linus Torvalds, the same man that created Linus kernel. You understand? So, like I said, the question I asked ab initio was version control, and repository. I have given the definition of version. I told you that I said is a unique state of an object, and of course, you can think of an object as a file. You understand? For example, because we are much more concerned about file system here. You understand? So, I want you to understand something, that it is impossible to be a software engineer without knowing how to version a code. That is not knowing Git is unacceptable. It is quite unacceptable. So now we are now down to what version control system is. What is version control system? Version control version control is the practice of tracking and managing changes to file. You understand? So one of the easiest ways to version a file is, of course, using Google Docs. I don't know if you have seen Google Docs, Google document, but Google document is limited in some ways, in several ways rather. It can only version a single file, and this is one of just its numerous limitations. You understand? So you might be thinking of course, Google Drive could do what you think it could do, but it has a lot of limitations, and one of the greatest is um, it can only version a single file. You understand? And of course, that is not what we need. You understand? But a much more sophisticated and scalable way is what using Git, and Git can version any amount or number of source file. Think of it. Well, I know some of you might be thinking, might be wondering, why can't I just package my source code, my source file, and email it? Like I said before, you could discover an error after you have sent an email. Um, Akinleye Elijah, good evening. Anyekpeno Udo Umo, good evening. And Nachitam Chime, good evening. So, like I said ab initio, uh, we breed football, Joshua Shalesi, good evening. So, like I said before, you might be sending an email that contains your source code, and after you send the email, you might now just discover that you have some bugs that you ought to have corrected before you send it, and there will not be any room for you to make changes to that. You understand? So, like I said, some of you that are thinking, why can't I just package my source file and email it? And this kind of thinking shouldn't be coming from us, because it should be coming from a kind of immature engineer. So let's imagine working in an organization where multiple components and architecture. Now let's assume you found yourself in an organization where, for those that are thinking you could mail your source code. Let's assume you're working in an organization where you're building an applications with multiple architectures, and of course components. When you are building an application with multiple components and architecture, let's assume an application where about hundreds or thousands of you are building, and so you'll be mailing your imagine that each engineer is thinking of mailing uh, their component. How will it be arranged and all those things? So that will be so cumbersome, and it will be so it will be counterproductive. You understand? So it does not support that system of sending through email, does not support collaboration. Just by emailing your code or source file will be devoid of what collaboration. So you need a system or a tool such as Git, and at least Git makes our lives easier, as it is one of the most robust and cutting edge tool to version our source file. You understand? So let me I've told you about our tool. I told you it was created in 2005 by Linus Torvald, and the same man who created Linus kernel. So though the intention is, when you install Git, because we're going to be installing Git. When you install Git, you create a kind of repository, and I will explain what the repository is. You understand? Though I have the definition here too. I said it's a storage for all our staged and committed source file. So the word staged and committed, I'm going to break it down for us so that we can have understanding of what it is. So forget about the definition of repository for now. So the intention why creating, or why Git was created, is a situation that when you install Git, you create a kind of repository. I mean, local repository on your machine. So the repository is to save your project files. So if you have it, let's say if you have a team now let me explain very clearly. Let's assume you have installed Git. Immediately you install Git on your system, you have a local repository already. You understand? And if you have a team, it enables you and your team to share a file, you know if I, of course, I have a Git installed on my machine. You understand? So by virtue of having a Git installed on my machine, I have a repository. You understand? If you have a Git too, if you have Git too, you all have what? Local repository. So the intention is to enable myself and yourself, like most of you that are battling with the code, the Alexa code. You understand? If had it been you've known about Git, we would have been able to collaborate seamlessly. You understand? So I can collaborate, you can collaborate, I can just, you understand, without even leaving. We can collaborate anywhere. You can be any, even if you're in Antarctica, you will be able to collaborate your code with me. You understand? So that is one of the main reason for what having Git created. You understand? So that is why another thing you should understand is that the reason, the ability for me to collaborate my code, because of me having a local repository and you having local repository, the ability is called, it can is what makes Git a distributed version control system. You understand? So whenever you hear the word, whenever you hear somebody say, or whenever you hear someone and anybody say Git is a distributed version control system, it simply means it enables you to have a local repository and share your source code, or you collaborate your code with what others, via you having a local repository and myself having a the other, your team member having local repository, and of course you are able to what collaborate using a central version. You understand? So I'm going to explain all those. You understand? So so like I said, Git is a distributed version control system because each person has a repository. Meanwhile, like I said, there is a central repository that enables code interaction between teams or repository. This is what it means. Um, Okay, in the case of central repository, we'll be talking about GitHub here. So we are getting a clearer picture of what Git is and what GitHub is. Don't worry, if you don't get it here, we'll get it. I'll get it. Let's explain. Let me explain this situation, this scenario before we proceed. Let me explain what the difference between a local repository and a central repository. Now let's assume. Okay, I want to collaborate my code with you. I have Git installed on my machine, and which is what, whenever you have Git installed on your machine, it is now it has now given you the opportunity of having a local repository. Now you two now have Git installed on your local machine. Definitely you have a local repository too. You understand? So let's now assume that I want to collaborate with you. How will I collaborate with you? Having If both of us are having local repository, we need something to connect with, which is the central repository. You understand? The central repository is just like a connector between two or more local repository. You understand? We call that, it's a kind of a cloud repository. It's a server that holds our repository, kind of vault where we can collaborate our source file. So to get started, um no, before we get started, we need to um before we get started, I think I need to tell you what Git lifecycle is. What is Git lifecycle? Git lifecycles are like the command you are going to be working with while using Git. You understand? The process of using Git. You understand? The commands we are going to be coming across, the process at which we are going to be using our Git. You understand? So yeah, let's quickly talk about Git lifecycle. While I was still learning Git, um, I made some mistakes. The mistakes I made, I don't want you to make it. The mistakes I made was trying to good evening, Nomili Joseph. was trying to memorize all these Git life cycles, all these Git commands and all stuff. It was counterproductive. You understand? You understand? So, okay. So, I don't want you to encounter same situation. The situation being that um I didn't understand some bit of what these things are. I was just memorizing to know, okay, memorizing the commands. But I would try my best to let you understand each and every one of these things. You understand? First of all, I'll give the definition, of course, so as to the technical definition, and then afterwards, I will explain using real life situations. You understand? So what is let me start with this git init. I hope you can still hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me, please. I need to understand, because I have a pop-up here that says um YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain blah 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 blah. So please let me know if you're hearing me. Okay, the this thing now, the pop-up has gone. Okay, if you can still hear me and see my screen, please let me know. So let me start with this git init. What is git init? Git init is just like is just what initializes a new git repository. Oh, okay, thank you very much, thank you very much. It initializes a new git repository um in the current directory, creating a kind of hidden.git directory that stores all version control related information. Then when you're talking about git pull, you understand? Okay, thank you very much, Tosin. When you're talking about Thank you very much. When you're talking about git pull, what git pull does is to fetch changes from a remote repository and merge them into the current branch. It is used to update your local repository with the latest changes from the remote repository. Okay, so just ignore the big vocabularies. I will explain everything in details. Then the git revert, what it does is to create a kind of a new commit. The word commit, thank you, ma. The word commit, repository, and all those stuff I will explain. So let me just give the terms and the definitions of them all. Thank you, favor. So the git revert, what it does is to create a new commit that undoes the changes, that undoes the changes made in previous commit. It's a way to reverse a kind of unwanted changes without altering the project's history. Now, git revert, like I say, it seems to be a kind of typo git command that are case sensitive, so it should be git revert, not give. Okay, yes, it should be git, all these things, the kind of typo, you understand, so it should be all lowercase. So pardon me, because maybe, and of course I double typed git revert, it's just one. So that is that. Then we have git branch. Git branch, what it does is to list all the branches in your Git repository and show which branch you are currently on. You understand? So you can also use it to create a kind of new branches. Thank you, Anik Beno Udom. You understand? Then we have Git clone. What clone does is to create a copy of your remote repository on your local machine. So it is used to start your working directory. Then we have Git add. The Git add is to stage changes for commits, and Git push is to push to your repository, uploads from your local disk to your repository. So you see all these commands that you're seeing. Git commit is create a new commit. They are they are something that we're going to be using so extensively in the later future. But the most important one here that we will start off with is Git init, Git pull, Git branch, Git clone, Git add, Git push, Git merge, and all those things, and Git commit. So we're gonna be using that so extensively. So as we grow in our training, we're gonna be using every command so extensively, even those commands that we think we've known that we are yet to know. All of them we just work with them. So let's just start in sequence. Let's just start in sequence. So that is that. So next thing is to get started. So to get started, first of all, we need to do certain things. Thank you very much. He say you need care. Shey na London we dey now, bro, na London you do. Okay, so to get started, we need to do certain things. Number one is to, of course, go to www.git/scm.com. You're gonna be seeing it on the screen, don't worry. Then two, we're gonna be selecting your operating system, then wait for the download to finish. Of course, it is an exe file. Then open after download. You understand? So you just follow all these guidelines that I put here, so as for you not to get confused. You understand? So go to that go to that URL, and of course follow the prompts that I just or follow the guidelines that I just gave you. You understand? So that is that. So let's get started to using Git. Let me sorry, let me go to the site SCM. I'm going to zoom, don't worry, I'm going to zoom it. So let's get started. Yes, thank you. Favor init means initialization. Thank you very much. Tell the London man. So let's get started. Let's get started. So I'm going to Control V. Let me. So you can just put it here. You can put it here. I hope you can see it. So you can put it here and punch enter. You can put it in the address bar. You can put it in the search bar, whichever one you want. So when you not get here, it will route you to this place. So it will route you to this place. It will route you to this place. So the current version is version 2.42.0, which is the latest release as of date. So I just want the screen to show that I'm here, because I'm not seeing that my screen is showing it. If you are seeing, hey, Mr. Claire, good evening. So if you are seeing the screen here, you will see that they even wrote it there. Git distributed is a new centralized blah 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 blah. So when you are now here, if you're on Windows, you first of all, the first thing to do is to check your let me see. If you're Windows, the system this thing will automatically detect your operating system, and if you didn't detect it, you can come to here and click on whatsoever operating system you are using. You understand? So if you're on Windows, you can just click download for Windows. Click on the you'll see a flat screen here, a kind of TV like screen. Just click on download for Windows, I've clicked on it, but I'm not going to progress with it, basically because I have Git installed already. So I have Git installed already, so I don't need to. So when you now get here, it said download for Windows. Click to download for Windows. You can check. You check the kind of bit your system is. You understand? We have, of course, we have 32 bit. We have system. How do you check your bit? You can just come here. You can click on, if you can click on bit. You understand? For shortcut, let me see. It's not bringing the shortcut, anyways. Okay, you can come here and come to about. You can come to your about PC here. Click on it. So when you click on it, you will see there. You see here, mine is what, 64-bit operating system. You understand? So S64, that is it's a kind, it's talking about your processor. You understand? So if you have confirmed that, in my own case that is 64, I will just click 64-bit Git for Windows setup. And for Mac user, the this thing is the same. The command is the same. Just follow the prompt. It's the same. You understand? You understand? But in your own case, you will see Mac. You understand? And if you are using Linux, basically maybe Ubuntu distros, you can contact me privately, or you follow the same. You can follow the same process. Of course, they have the same command systems and all that. Just follow the same. It's just the same approach. So there's nothing to worry about. Now, now after you've done that, after the installation, you can just go to your after the installation, you will see, just follow the guidelines that I gave. You will see, you can look for Git. You can come to this. You can see here I have Git bash here on my desktop. I have it here. You can click to launch it. In fact, at the finishing of your installation, it will get launched. You understand? Excuse me. It will what? It will get launched immediately. So there's nothing to worry about. So um so I hope you can see my screen. So I'm trying to zoom my this thing. So I just maximize my screen so that I can. So I zoomed it for that, for you to see. So you will see something like this. This is Git bash. You understand? The Git bash. Remember, I said something like it uses Git bash uses a Unix command system. You understand? Unix command system is a command system that Mac and Linux uses. I mean, the Mac and Linux, the command system they use is called Unix, Unix. You understand? So I think so. You have something like this. So to now check if your Git is properly installed, you can do something like this. You can prompt Git dash dash version. So it will bring your version. You understand? It will bring your what version. So in my own case, I have Git version 2.41.0. So Windows 3. So you should have something like this, um without any error. You understand? So if you've gotten to this stage, congratulations. So before we now go further, let me explain some key concepts before we go beyond now. So remember, I said something like um uh staging. You understand? Uh then, sorry, excuse me, before any other thing, you need to do some certain things. You understand? You know, we have confirmed our installation to be proper and to be perfect. You also need to start using Git. You need to register some information about yourself. If not, you may encounter some issues. So type this Git, um, dash dash global, git dash dash global, you can say user.name, and of course space. So after space, you double colon, in between the double colon type your name. So let me say my name is for example, let me say my name is Tosin Zika. You understand? So if I punch enter, I have my name registered, so it will throw an error. So I don't want it to throw an error. So make sure you do something like this. So you punch enter. So when you punch enter, don't expect it to do anything. It will just show normal. It will not do anything, but it has registered your name. You understand? So after you punch enter, it will register your name. You don't need to see any prompt as far as it didn't throw error. So it has registered your name. Then you go again. So after the next line, because if you punch enter, it will just show as if you've not typed anything. That shows it's successful. So to now register another information, you say git config. Hey, sorry, the previous one I missed something. I missed the config. Sorry, the correct the correct configuration is git config dash dash global. Sorry, consider that an error. User.name space, say I called my name Tosin Zika, abi Tosin Zika. Of course, I shouldn't be writing my phone. So let's assume my name is Tosin Zika. So git config dash dash global user.name Tosin Zika. You understand? So after that, you punch enter. If you punch enter, it will show a cursor, a blinking cursor, which shows that it has entered. Then again, you type another one, config git config dash dash global user.email then you put, say example, for example at gmail.com. So in your own case, you type your email. So don't go and be typing example.gmail.com. Please type your email there, and that email is the same email, and make sure the information you are entering is the same information you'll be using on your GitHub, or to register for your GitHub. You understand? So that is that on the email. So when you punch enter, then you have successfully registered your information. So to now check if your details are correctly entered and accepted, you use this command. To check if your details are registered and accepted, you use this command, say git config user.name. So you punch enter. So when you punch enter, it will show you your details. Then of course, for the email, to check your email, you say git config user.what email. I hope the screen is, the text are wide enough for you to see, right? If you can see the commands, please let me know, because we are going to be using the commands. I'm waiting for your response, please. You can comment on the comment section. So if you can see the text wide. Okay, great. I'm fine. Thank you very much for responding. So after confirming this, it is now time to create a GitHub account. So let's now go to creating a GitHub account. You understand? So if you have done all this, thank you very much. Okay, clear. Oh, okay, great. Oh, okay, thank you very much. You are saying the command. So after doing all this, okay, thank you very much. So it's now time to create a GitHub account. I told you GitHub account is free, so there's no charges to it. So you can just go to um www.github.com, github.com. So when you go to www.github.com, of course it routed me to YouTube search, and you can just click on it. Github.com. Well, in my own case, I of course I'm registered on GitHub, so I don't need to create an account. So you can just create your account. You know how to create account on any web application now. So just create account, and after creating account, I will give you my, don't worry, I'll give you my link so that you can don't worry, I'll take you through uh I'll give you my GitHub link so that you can start cloning my project. And of course, whenever I will push a repository now to the GitHub, and you will clone it. So you understand. So I'll teach you how to clone it, and you will clone it. So of course, this is my GitHub account. You understand. So you can create yours. You need to create an account. Let me open a fresh, okay, let me use another browser so that it will, I'll take you through the process of creating the GitHub account. Okay, github.com. So let me take you through the process of creating a GitHub account. So when you get to this page here, so you come here. This is GitHub space. Now you come here and what, you sign up. So when you click on sign up, look at where my mouse is hovering. When you click on sign up, so let's create account together. So you enter your email. So when you enter your email, let's say I want to enter my email, you just say I have another email, so let me enter that. So you can click on continue. You can create a password. You can create a password. So when you create a password, you can enter a username. Say I want to enter by Jameson, for example. You can continue. Okay. Would you like to receive product updates and announcement via email? Well, you can say no. You can say no, but let me say yes. So the next thing is, after this, you go to your email and verify the account. So when you verify the account, let me go ahead and verify the account. So I'm going to verify that from another device so that you won't see my email. Let me just go and verify the account so that okay. So it's not showing. Please, I don't know why I've not received an email, but it should be a network thing if it's not showing instantly. So do yourself good or to check your promotions and socials to see if it's landed in that, but it shouldn't. Anyways, it's network. It's one of those things. So when you verify your email, um, it will take you through. I just wanted to verify. Okay. Oh, sorry, I've not clicked it. Okay, use the arrow to rotate the animal to face in the direction of the hand. Okay, you can just do this. You can do this. No. Okay, I think this is facing. Okay, I think that their own verification is different. Okay, they say we should face the. Okay, do that. I think it's done. Yeah, I think with this you've created an account. Just create account. You don't need to check your email. Just follow the unable to verify your capture response. I think it's capture. Okay, because they are not able to verify the capture response. Gosh. They've sent me an email. So they've sent me an email. Continue. So they've sent me an email. So let me just quickly um launch the code. They sent me a code. Let me see if would you like to receive no, continue. Okay, let me just refresh. I think it's network issue. Okay, let me just sign in. So since they have verified me, let me sign in. Okay, let me. So you can just follow the print prompt and no, I think they are using my. Let me sign out. They're using my old account. Let me. Sorry, excuse me. I'm trying. I don't know why I'm having issues. Okay, the verification process, yes, is normal now. It's a very wicked one, so that it's for your account to be protected. I didn't get the this thing, so they had to send me. I want to log out now. Let me use another browser. Let me use another browser. github.com. Sorry, just hold on, please. Okay, let me sign in. Okay, what if have already registered for GitHub account without using Git Bash before? Don't worry, it's still the same process. It's not something you can register even before anything. I just wanted you to just make sure that the email you registered with and the name is what you will use on Git Bash, so that you won't start having issues. Yeah, I think, yeah, they're asking me to enter the yeah, I think I received that. Let me 3 0 1 5 0 2 4 1 5 0 2 4. The reason why I'm writing this is because, oh geez, I don't like this lighting. The reason why I'm writing this is because I'm not blurring it. It's because I know you that they can always give me fresh code if somebody tries to access my this thing, so you can access it. So now, after that, it will bring you to this page. Right now, I have it's blank, it's plain. You understand? It's blank and plain, blank and plain. So nothing there, no repository, so nothing. So you can first of all uh, go ahead and of course edit your profile if you deem fit. If you like, if you want to edit your profile, you can edit your profile. Then the next thing, to after editing your profile, let me say by adding your picture, your status, if you like, if you want to add your status, if you want to, you understand. But that is not our motives for now. Our motive is for us to quickly get set on using Git Bash and GitHub. So now we've registered for our GitHub. So just create repository. Click on this green button, create repository. I think you saw create repository. So when you click on create repository, let's wait for it to load up. Let's wait for it to load up. Okay, since I've shown you how to create repository, I mean to so when you now do that, create repository, you can just when it will now bring you to this environment. So after you have been brought to this environment, the first thing to do is to give your repository a name. Let's say it could be anything. Let's say I don't have we are not we okay. Let's say you can give it a name. You can give it could be your project name. You understand? Let me say project project um project practice, for example. Let's say project practice. So you see that project practice is available. You understand? So if it does not write available, it means somebody else has chosen it. So immediately it wrote available, or whenever you see available written in green line here, you will see where my mouse is hovering. Let me zoom. Sorry. Let me zoom. So here you will see it wrote project is available. That shows that it is not taken. If it is not available, it shows that it has been taken. So you don't need to add a readme file yet. Just create a repository immediately after you are through with giving it a name. Just create a repository. All other things will be advanced for us now, but don't worry, we'll get into it. So create repository. So after creating repository, wait, let it create. It's loading. So now it has created what? Repository. So after creating repository, you see this line here. You see this line here. This line here. This one. You'll be needing it later. Let me zoom in. Okay. Oh, sorry. It's too much. It's too much. You see this line https colon forward slash github.com forward slash my username forward slash my project name dot git. You'll be needing it later. So to copy it, you can just click on this. When you click on this thing, you have copied it. You don't need to see any magic happen. Just click on it as copied. You understand? You'll be needing it later. You understand? So now now to proceed, I'm not going to be using this. I'm going to be using my real GitHub so that I can create a better repository. So now let me create. In my own case, I don't have to. I'll just write new. I'll just click on new because of course I have so many repositories. So let me just create new. So let me create new so that I can so let me give it a repository name just as I did before, but this is just that one is just a dummy account, but this one that's my real account that I've been using. So let me say I want to create my repository. Say let me create practice git practice. Let me give it a git practice. Or I can say given uh, git tutorial. So I created a project name giving git tutorial. So after creating that, I'll just click on create repository. So I've created a repository. So I now can I go to, is either I come here or I go to, you can use git bash from VS Code if you have git bash installed. If you have git installed, you can access git bash from VS Code. So let's go to VS Code. Remember I told you you need these HTTPS, that is the Git SSH. It is the Git URL is for you to SSH into your central repository, which is the remote repository. So you now go to let me see if I can commit. Okay, I would need to commit the Alexa. No, sorry, let me not go and commit what. Let me commit the Alexa. Let me see. Or let me, okay, because I'm committing Alexa, I don't need to, let me rename this. I'm coming, let me rename it. Um, let me rename it. I'm coming. Since I'm committing Alexa, so I can now give it a better. Let me create new repository. Sorry. Okay. Alexa. Alexa. Um, Alexa with Python. Alexa bot with Python. So Alexa bot with Python. So um, that is the repository name I'm giving it. So since I'm going to commit that, so so let's just let me go and so let me look for the Alexa here. I hope I have not deleted it. Okay, I think I have it. Open with VS Code. So, um, so, so just hold on. So let me see. Let me close all these. So now the terminal is open. So from here, let me zoom a bit. Yeah, I hope it's clearer now. So from here, uh, I think I made some adjustments later on. Let me see. Yes, just to make it neater. Okay, so somewhere you can just you will see that you will see all of I have PowerShell, all of the tools I have access to. I have PowerShell because, of course, by virtue of having Windows 10, you have PowerShell. I have Git Bash because I have installed Git. I have, of course, command prompt that came with the. So I can just use Git Bash from here. You understand? So I can use Git Bash from here. So you will see that it brought the same the reason for using Git Bash directly from VS Code is that you don't need to be routing, so there will not be any need for you to be trying to navigate to your path, to your file path. If I have to come here, if I have to use Git Bash, if I have to come from here, I would need to. You will see that there's no file path specified here. I would need to what navigate to the file path, but going through the VS Code, going through the source file itself, there's no need for me to navigate to the there's no need for me to navigate to the to the file path because I'm already on the what path. So now the first thing to do here is to initialize Git. You understand? So how do we initialize Git? We can just say we can say git init. Remember, okay, let me take you through because you are still learning. I don't want you to memorize all these commands. So what we'll do is let's go to, we have created repository. So let's now go to that repository page where they gave us the steps to take. So you can look at it. The first thing is of course, create a new repository on the command line, which is what git commit. I mean git init. So let's start git init. Let's go one after the other. Git init. You understand? Git init. Git init, which I have written there. Git init. So what will happen is it will initialize empty git repository. What is this empty git repository? I have told you git init is first of all, git init initializes a new git repository in the current directory, creating a kind of hidden .git directory that stores all the version control related information. So let me explain that. In First of all, I need to open another file so that I can store all the commands there instead of going through. Okay, I think Java, I wrote all the commands there, so I can just be picking from there rather than going back and forth. Okay, let me go to notes.txt. No, git steps.txt. Now, so the first thing here is what you create, what initialize the git. I told you what initialization is. It's a kind of command that creates a kind of hidden.git directory that stores all the version control system. So what will happen is I should include all these commands there so that you have it too. Let me create a txt file in that. My bad, I should have just created it right from time. I will reinitialize it. Let me create a txt file. Git commands, git commands .txt, so that I can put the Control V. So let me reinitialize because I just added another thing. So git init, yes, reinitialize the existing git repository so as for it to capture the .txt file, because I want you to have this thing. So now I have what? I have done the git init. I have initialized the git. You understand? By initialization, by init, it means I have just initialized a new git repository in the current directory. So what it does is to create a kind of hidden.git directory that it will store all the version control related informations. So all these version control informations will be stored in the what? Hidden.git in its directory. So the next step is what? To have this git remote add origin. You understand? It's not the kind of origin you are thinking about. I think we breed football. I know that would be your kind of thinking. So it's not the kind of origin you are thinking about. So git remote add origin. So after adding origin, the next thing is to add your repository URL. You see here that I wrote git init. I don't know if you are seeing it. Let me zoom. Okay, so I wrote git init add origin. So after, let me collapse this tree since I have it. Let me collapse this tree here. Yeah, so that you can see it clearly. So git remote add origin. So after the add origin, the next thing is to add is to include repository URL. Remember the URL I said you should copy. So let's go and copy it and add to it. So let's go to this is what I'm talking about. This URL, let me zoom. Yeah, so this thing here, this one here is what I'm talking about. When you create your repository, after you have given your project name, you have your repository name, and you have created your repository. So this thing is what I'm talking about. So you come here and copy. Just click on this thing here. Don't expect any action, or you can just highlight and copy. So don't expect any action, just click on it. You have copied it. So by coming down to your VS Code, so git remote add origin, then repository. You understand? I mean your repository URL. So in case you have copied your repository URL and you now paste it, if you paste it, it may include some additional, it will include some kind of tilde sign, this sign here. It will include this sign here. In some cases it will include this sign here, this extra tilde sign. Make sure you clean it. The last character there must be git. So .git must be the last thing there. Any other additional character, make sure you clean it before you punch enter. So the moment you punch enter, it has what? It has created what? A remote origin. Now let me explain what that thing is doing there. You know, I remember I told you that your local machine is your the moment you install Git. The moment I installed Git, I have created a kind of local repository in my Git. And the moment you have Git too, because you want to collaborate, the moment you install Git too, you have local repository on your Git. You understand? Now, how do we now collaborate? How do we now reach out? Because the most important thing is for me to be able to access your file, your source file, and for you to be able to access my source file. Now we need a central uh, a central repository. Now that central repository is known as remote repository. You understand? It's a cloud-based repository where it's a cloud-based repository where you keep your uh, where you keep your where a cloud-based repository that stands as an intermediary between what two or more local repository. You understand? It's just like a server. You understand? And we call it remote repository or central repository, which is the GitHub. We have different kind of remote repository. We have GitHub, we have GitLab. You understand? But in our own case, we are using what? GitHub. Now, since you have now opened GitHub, by now saying git remote add origin with your URL, so you are telling Git that you want to communicate via a central remote system. So add this URL, and if you are doing this, you have to be connected to internet. You can't just add repository on localhost. So just so okay, don't worry, I'll another banger. So I will so I will see to that. Hold on. So after that, the next thing is what? We need to add we need to create a staging area. You understand? The staging area is just by saying git add. That git add, remember I told us what git add is. If you can remember, I said git add, it stages changes for commit. It tells Git which files you want to include in the next commit. You understand? You typically use git add before what? Committing changes. Normally you add git add and the files you are committing. But in my own case, I don't want to add one file, I don't want to add two files, I don't want to add three files. I want to add plenty files. So I'll just add git add space dot, git add space dot. That dot simply means everything, every file that this directory has. You understand? That is the meaning of that dot. Everything, it means everything. You understand? So by punching enter, it will add everything. Now what is that add? Let me explain what that add is. Now let's assume you want to relocate from your new house to another from your old house to another new house. Of course, the old house has some of your belongings, in fact all of your belongings if not, and the new house is has nothing. Of course, it's a clean house, it's on clean slate. You understand? Has nothing. Now you need to move your belongings. Of course, I'm not expecting you to start throwing your belongings from your old house to your new house. You understand? So you need to what? Pack them. pack your belongings, maybe your clothes, you need to pack them in a box. You understand? Your whatever your below books, your you need to what pack them. Those packing, eh? Those the system of packing your belongings is known as staging. So that is what this git ad is doing. So the git ad is called is doing what is it's called the staging area. So it's staging the okay, you are just it's just like structuring. Staging is simply to structure and arrange the file you are is the files and the source code you are trying to commit. You understand? Is to arrange them. You know why you have to um, stage all your belongings? It's basically because you wouldn't want to just pack all of them, because when you get to that new house, you want to arrange them, right? So by putting them in a box, you will label the box. You understand? We'll get to that labeling of the box, don't worry. So now packing those belongings is called what? Staging, and that is what git add means. You understand? Remember from the definition I gave you, I said it stages the changes for commit. You understand? It tells Git which files you want to include in the what next commit. So you understand? So in this case now, by saying git add dot, I mean it. I'm telling Git that I want to commit everything, because that dot means everything. So if I punch enter, so you see it's committing everything. So it's committing everything. Let's just wait for it to finish. So we are getting it's staging everything, rather it's not yet committing, because it has to stage first. So this is the process of packing my belongings. Now I have packed my belongings. You understand? So I have concluded with the staging area. You get? So the next thing is what? Git commit. Um after you have staged your belongings, after you have packed your belongings in each of those carton, you will need to label them, right? You want to label each of them. Okay, this one is books. Imagine a situation whereby you're having box of the same colors, let's say carton box of brown carton boxes. You understand? You just want to say, okay, these are my t-shirts, these are for my books, this contains my books. You understand? You don't need to write my just write books, t-shirts, trousers. Understand what I'm saying? So in this case too, we need to what? Label our box, because we have staged them. So how do we do that? We will now say, okay, git commit, because now we are relocating. So let's say git commit. I'm calling this initial commit. You understand? Remember, I wrote uh, git commit initial commit. You understand? So this initial commit here could be anything. You understand? It could be anything. Do you get? It could be my first commit. You understand? My first commit. It could be. Had it been? Let's assume you're working with on an application, and your portion is to correct a login error or a kind of bug. You can just say git commit -m bug fixed. You understand? You can say, maybe they say you should create a kind of login system. You can say git commit -m login committed or login completed. You understand? So now after I have like, remember I told you, is a way of just labeling your staged your stage basics. You understand? Just like labeling your stage. So when you now get to that house, you will now be able to sort them according to those boxes. So now let's now push our repository to what? To the central server or central repository. We are now taking our load from our local repository to what? To central repository, so that you can have access to what, to it. So how do we do that? So you can just say, you see this command here, let me type it so that you will be seeing git push minus u origin master, git push minus u origin master. So immediately I punch enter, it will push the repository to the what, to the remote server. So it's pushing. So in your own case, you can pull or clone for collaboration. So after that, after finish the if after the pushing is finished, I'll go and clone to uh another this thing. I'll create another this thing and clone there. So when I now clone it, you will see that you will see how to, you will see your uh you will see the cloned copy. So let's wait while it's get pushed to the central server. So let's just wait while it loads. So while we are waiting, you can just be asking your questions so that we don't just stay quiet. If you have any question, you can ask me so that we don't stay quiet. So you can ask me any question while we wait for it to finish pushing, so that we can't just be waiting without having anything to say. Okay. Ah, okay. With Bridge Football, what OS do I use? The operating system I use, I use Mac. I use of course I use Windows, I use Mac, I use Linux. I don't have one system, so I use Windows, Mac. At least I have two Windows. Um, I have Linux, which is Ubuntu distros. Then I use Mac OS. So it depends. But right now, the one I'm using right now is Windows. Of course, you can see that. So it has nothing to do with your operating system. No matter the operating system you are using, it will work fine. Just follow the command, same process. So it has nothing to do with operating system. So any other question while we wait for it to load up, because we are pushing. No, it wasn't the staging that was packing. It was the committing. The staging is where you use git add. When the moment you say git add, you are staging. Yes, that git. Okay, the git add dot. Yes, it's because I told it to add everything. Yes, so it has to pack everything. It's just like, okay, what are you packing? You are packing everything. So the git add dot means pack everything. The dot is just everything. You understand? Everything that is here. You understand? From git add, pack everything that is here. The dot means everything here. You understand? So that is it. Each line of code, because the staging was known. Yes, it packs each line of, yes. No, not just each line. It deals with files, not lines of code. It deals with file. And to think of it, don't think it's only one file that you have. Yes, you might open a file and you might have some dependencies. And it will do some checking. It will do some security checking and all that. That's why. No, it packs files. It doesn't pack lines of code. No, it packs files. So that is that. So now ignore these additional words here. So the most important thing for you is that resolving deltas 100%, 414 done. You understand? So meaning 414 files. You understand? 414 files. You might be wondering, how come 414? Remember the dependencies we install. All those installations, don't you know that they are files? Import this, import that. Don't you know they are files? So all those things will be packed. So we have what? 414 files. And of course 414 over 414, meaning 100%. So it's done. So with that, you are good to go. So how do we know this thing is in our central repository? Just go to, let's go to, I'm going to my GitHub now. So if I go to my GitHub, immediately I go to my GitHub, I will see it there. Let me go to my home. Yes, so I'm coming. You should see it. Look at it here. Look at it here. Alexa bot. Look at, I hovered on it and a tooltip came out. Let me see. A tooltip came out saying Python updated 2 minutes ago. So immediately I push. After pushing, it got updated here. So if I click on it, you see, let it load. If I click on it, you will see it load up. You see it loads up. So now let me now teach you how to get it from, now that I've committed it. How do you get it? You understand? How do you get it? Since I've committed it, this is the file, initial commit. You see the title, initial commit. You understand? 10 minutes ago. You understand? The 10 minutes ago is telling that the time I gave the title was 10 minutes ago. You understand? So that is that. So now, to get, for you to be able to get the code, I'll give you my username. You understand? You search for me. You can just click on, look at this button here that shows code. Click on it. It will bring a drop down. So when it now brings a drop down, you understand, when it brings a drop down, you click on the repository, the copy icon here, you click on it. So when you click on it, it will tell you copy. Let me show it again. When you click on it, it shows copied. So when it now shows copied, let me clone it. I can't clone it there. Let me clone it in another place. Let me say I want to clone it in this. Let me create another window. So new windows. Let's assume you want to clone it. I've copied the repository, That is I'm copying the repository of that file. There are two ways you can do it. The first way, which is the most ideal way, is to copy this thing like this, copy it like this, or you can download a zip. If you download the zip, you go and unzip it or extract all the information there. You understand? But if that is not the case, if that is not the case, you which is the best I can advise you to do is to what, copy the what repository of, I mean the URL of the repository that was pushed to the GitHub, that I pushed to the GitHub. So of course I told you to open a new window. So when you now open a new window of your VS Code, so when you open a new window, you will see here, you will see at the very start button, you will see new file, open folder, clone Git repository. You can click on it. You understand? You can click on clone Git repository. So when you click on clone Git repository, you can put it here. You can paste it here. So when you paste it here, you punch enter. But if you don't see it there, of which you will see it there, you understand? If you don't see it there, you can do something like this. You can create a file. You don't need to create a file sef. Let me create, oh sorry, let me see. Let me create a terminal. Let me run a terminal. You understand? So you can close that if you don't want, to use that method. You can as well close it. Then click on this. Look at this icon here that I clicked. In your own case, it might not show icon. It's showing these three icons basically because I zoomed my VS Code. So let me try to zoom back to, so in case it is like this, you can just click on these three dots here and look for terminal. But let me go back to, so I clicked on terminal. When you now have terminal, new terminal, you understand? So when you have new terminal, you can just drag beside this PowerShell here, this plus sign. After this plus sign, there is this drop down here. Click on it, click on git bash. So when you click on git bash, so you now see something like git clone, you understand, git clone control V. You understand? Remember that I told you any trailing character, please remove it. What must end it was with .git. Anything apart from .git, if after .git you have additional character, remove the additional character. So git clone, then paste the URL. So when you paste the URL, punch enter. So when you punch enter, it will clone. See now it's cloning into Alexa bot with Python. That is into my repository, and it's receiving all the information, all the committed files. It's receiving them. So it's receiving them. So let's wait till it receives them. So let's wait till it receives them. So the reason why I said you should not, you should do it this method, you should do it this way, is basically because it will arrange it for you in your VS Code. You don't have to, when you try to, download the zip file, zip folder. When you download zip folder, You will have to unzip it and it will create an extra folder. You might have troubles trying to navigate to where the source file is and all that. So the best bet is for you to get it cloned to your VS Code. So let's wait while the whole process is. So any question as the process is going, let's I can entertain question and of course give replies. Any question so far? Any question so far? Any question so far? Let's just wait till you finish cloning because there's still one more command that I need to let you know after cloning it. Please, if you have question, please ask me. I can't Fanem. I don't get what you are saying, sir. You say I would like to know how your name appear in the VS Code. I don't. Okay. Now I understand. I'll send that to you, please. I will send that to you. Any question, please. Let's not stay quiet. Normally, it shouldn't take this long, but it's taking long basically because of network. So it shouldn't take this long. It's not something that takes this long, but we're having network issue. So let's wait while the stuff is loading. So let's wait, please. So you can ask your questions. So as for us not to stay quiet while the stuff is loading. I don't know why it's taking this long. So let's just wait for it to finish up. Okay, let me pick your questions again. Okay. So ouch. Okay, you can't for on GitHub. I can't. You can't use your phone, your mobile device. This is what will happen. We can always talk that in private, anyways. You can only to get the source file. You can only download the folder from of which I don't think is possible from this thing. From I'll teach you how to go about it, anyways. I'll teach you how to go about it. But you need a system later. You need a system, even if it is a desktop. Taiwo Axan Ajadi. Yes, the cloning will arrange it for you on VS Code. So you can just run it. But you just need one more command for you to be able to run it because yes, you have you have the um you have the source code, and of course the source code came with a lot of um dependencies, a lot of modules. So you need to know how to you need to what freeze the modules. I'll teach you how to do that, or you need to unfreeze them rather by you know by having them installed on a txt file. I'll teach you how. Please let's wait for these things to finish, and so that I can just give one more command and we end it. I don't know why the network is giving some kind of. Let's just wait. So you can still ask your questions if you have questions. So let's wait. I don't know why this thing is slow. Okay, meanwhile, while we are waiting, let me just tell us the other command so that we won't just be wasting our we won't just be waiting. So immediately you finish up, immediately that command, immediately that is, those things get cloned. The next thing for you to do is um you will, yes, after you can run the clone, but before you run the clone, you need to do this. um I didn't do pip freeze. I didn't do pip freeze. I didn't freeze the this thing on a txt file. Okay, you know what, before you clone it, don't clone it this night. You understand? Don't clone it this night. For those in Lagos, or in Nigeria, please don't clone it this night. For other places, don't clone it this moment. What I will do is this: I'll give you what to use. So after, by this time tomorrow, you can clone it, because I didn't had I need to make some changes. The changes I need to make is um to add to freeze the requirements, that is the dependencies. All my dependencies needs to be freezed. There's something we call pip freeze, um pip freeze requirement.txt, to kind of create a txt file. So all the dependencies I use, I will freeze them into a txt file, so that for you to install all those dependencies. So for me to be able to do that, because this night I don't think I will. Okay, this thing is now loading up. No, it's not. So I don't think there is time for that this night, so that I won't waste your time. So let's just do, what I will do is this: I will give you the command. By this time tomorrow, you can use the command, and of course you have this. So the command is this that you will do by this time tomorrow. You will do something like, say, you say pip pip install -r requirement.txt requirements.txt. Look at pip install -r requirements.txt. So immediately you do this, all my installation, you will have all my installation, so you can just run the code. You understand? Pip install -r requirement.txt. What all this means is that I will have a txt file that all my dependencies have been freezed on it. So you will just install um all the dependencies in the txt file. So after which all is done, you will just, and make sure, of course, make sure you create your virtual environment, so that everything will be installed in your virtual environment. You understand? So that is that. I think that is that, and that is all. So pip, yes, all those ones that you downloaded, if you have it on your virtual environment, it has no problem. You understand? It has no problem. It will download them. That's why I told you to create. Thank you very much, Simeon. To create a virtual environment. You understand? A virtual environment is just a pseudo environment that is used to hold all your dependencies, so that they won't interact with other dependencies. Do you understand? Had it been the previous ones you installed, now you install them on your machine, it will just occupy space, and of course it's not good. You understand? So the best bet is to have your virtual environment installed. So any installation you're going to be making should be on that virtual environment. So now don't forget, pip install minus r requirement.txt. So you should have this. So when you have this, when you do this by this time tomorrow, run it. It will install all the dependencies on you. And before you do this, make sure you have your virtual environment. If the project does not come with virtual environment, you understand. If the this thing, the cloned repository, so it's still cloning. So if it doesn't come with virtual environment, you can just create your virtual environment, activate your virtual environment and stuff. And if you check it, if it let me even check it. You don't need to even let me check if it has, because I didn't. Normally you shouldn't be doing that. Normally you are supposed to create a kind of git ignore to ignore some of the things, but we are still starting with git. So we are starting out with git, so you don't need. So I think so. I think every other thing is fine, just for you to uh, do that, which I said you should do. So thank you very much for your time. Time well spent. I think from now henceforth, every of our code will be. I'll commit every of my code to the repository, and of course, I mean to the remote repository. Then of course you can have it cloned to your local repository. And of course, if thank you very much, that would do to me. So and of course, if I give you an assignment, just commit it to your own remote repository. Then I will I will I will I will clone it and check if you are correct. So it's a good way to check assignment and stuff. So you commit it and I'll just check your code rather than checking your end project. I'll just check your code. Thank you very much. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate your coming, and I hope in next classes you won't miss them. Thank you very much. So any question before I call it a close? Any question, please, before I call it a close? If you have any question, please let me know. Thank you. If you have any question, please let me know. Okay, front end. Um, everybody will start getting lectures from on Monday. Thank you very much, Mr. Simeon. So everybody will start getting their lectures from on Monday. Thank you very much for your time, and of course, God bless you. Have a good night rest.